So now we introduce our third archetype, which is called the loyal lieutenant. And in the loyal lieutenant, what they exhibit is, I don't want to exert any control. I'm hands off. I don't want to take on any new project. I don't want to be the leader. But tell me what to do. You have to tell me everything. I need to know exactly. Tell me what to do. Tell me everything. And so they're the loyal lieutenant because they don't want to take on things, but they want to be told exactly what to do. And believe it or not, there are many senior leaders who have this profile. And we've worked with some. And so as an employee, you might look at that and be like, how is that possible? But people get put in roles and they have conditioning. They have their kind of learned characteristics, and this can be one of them. So Mazen, imagine that there's a senior leader who is more in this kind of like loyal lieutenant. I don't want to take anything on, but tell me what to do and I'll go do it. What is the impact on the organization and people around when you have that kind of archetype in a leadership position?
Imagine we are in the ocean, and then this is the captain of the ship. I'm like, it's a disaster. I don't know who will be running the ship, and I don't know how to deal with the outside, how to deal with the inside. It is very risky. Control is needed here. Control, because actually this archetype, as I feel it, and Mino, you worked more deeply in the tests and you've been applying it, but now when I hear it first, it's like, interesting. This is a very, 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 very deep rooted fear of failure, that they tried something in the past and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm afraid of failure, I'm afraid of trying, I'm afraid of, starting to be a little bit independent in my way of thinking and doing, because I may be judged. There's lots of guilt. And then it comes with, I am afraid of taking responsibility. Then if I do not take control and you tell me what to do, whatever happens, it's not my issue. Then I don't have feel shame. I won't feel guilt. I won't feel responsible. And I'm like, oh, it didn't work. It's very tricky. I'm a bit like this because I come initially from a rebel archetype. So it's kind of the opposite spectrum, right? So again, like it's the opposite spectrum. And now I'm finding balance playing in those. And to be honest, and I think Mino, probably you were guiding us in the show. Actually, even here, I always start to say why this archetype is not helpful, but why also it's helpful. So now I showed how it's not helpful and what's the deep-seated fear, but actually it is also very helpful because nothing is negative or positive alone. Or bad. It combines both. I love to be the loyal lieutenant. Sometimes it depends on what I'm working with. I'm not the head of few departments and someone else. Sometimes you're heading certain departments. So I would like to know that really you're in control of it. And I like to know to execute. So if you tell me suddenly, no, but it's for you, and I'm like, okay, I'm lost. So either I fully on top of it or not. So loyal lieutenant, it's again, but I play it in different projects. So imagine if I'm a CEO in a big company, if I allocate someone, delegate a certain position to run something and they have full control, yeah, it's good to see where they are. But actually, I create a structure to it that sometimes I check in. So if this archetype have a checking in, supervising those people who are put delegated to be leaders, this is very good. So that means I come back, I hear where they are, and they're in control if they don't need me, and I check if they're doing well. If they're doing well, I'm like, good. I will ask, do you need something from me? No, thank you. But I still have the responsibility in being the loyal lieutenant to check that it's going well. If it's not going well, I have to change this archetype immediately and exert another power I have. So again, it's a good when we delegate, when things are running, you have good leaders around you. It's good, but plus you need to add some supervision to check that everything is going well.
And so I really associate this archetype with something we've talked about on this podcast before, which is learned helplessness. I don't want to take anything on, and I need you to tell me what to do or I can't function. And again, believe it or not, Every human is capable of going into learned helplessness, including senior leaders and the CEO of the company. Krisana, what's the impact if you have a CEO that's in learned helplessness, and what could they possibly do to get out of learned helplessness?
It's very detrimental because there's a lot of no self worth. There is, I'm wrong. Have I made mistakes? Oh my God, am I guiding everyone the right way? So it can start to spiral down into this victimhood of there's no way out. And then it's really a false sense. And there can also be what comes up if imposter syndrome. And also I'm wrong. I might make a mistake, and someone's going to tell me I'm wrong. You're bad. You did it. So I don't come out with my healthy expressions, my healthy emotional states, and I get trapped into this learned helplessness. But there are ways out of it, and then if the emotional intelligence to see this is intact, then what you would do is then seek support outside with mentors, or people have seeked support with us to, just to get back on track. And it's also to give guidelines and a healthy approach to come back online, to come back into their resources, to be able to come out of these habits and learn patterns, and to see in their life what they have created that gives them a sense of healthy pride and worth and things that they have achieved, and then to keep them back on track of that. But it's very awful if that starts to happen in a leader, because they lose sense of themselves and it's a lot to do also with the mental and emotional states that they're in when they've been for a long time in accumulated stress and not taking themselves. This psychological aspect can drop in like a trapdoor, like, oh my God, who am I? What am I doing? But then that's to know to check in that there's states in your emotional states and physical body that you need to get in contact with and put back in balance and order, so you're natural, balanced, and healthy again, so you can move through this into a state of being healthy and balanced and grounded and present.
Yes, as we we will soon start to a bit transition, but as we kind of talk about control, there's a few things that I'll kind of really highlight as really roots. We've already mentioned several times, but I'm going to re-highlight them, is really sitting and processing fear. Fear drives up control, and in a way that is not easy to adapt or change the level of control that we fear. So fear, fear, fear. Tackle the roots of fear, sit with fear, befriend fear, digest fear, really enjoy having fear, and understand its impact on the physical, emotional, and mental layers of the body. Learning how to not identify so much with ourselves, our actions, our mistakes, our reputation, having a healthy distance to say, I can try something and see what the result is, and it's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if I fail, but I need to try something. I want to be creative. I want to be in this different energy. It's tough to have such a rigid control of who I am and what I'm about, because that is a form of control. It's a mechanism of control. And again, control in and of itself is not bad, but if we can't adapt it to the situation, then we're hitting everything with the hammer. Everything's the nail. So learning how to use different types of control in different moments, in different forms, that's really the art form. That's the mastery. That's the beauty of being a leader. For folks that are really, really, really independent, there's such a fear of something is going to come and shatter me. So how do I move beyond that and open myself up to the world and to feedback?